Let's get it, man. Y'all know how we do. Always pushing health, wealth, and a better understanding of self, man. So today we got Malcolm X was right about politics. Okay, both political parties. He was right with us. Now, y'all make sure y'all go check out my brother Jarvis in his clothing line. I got the Malcolm X shirt. I got the link in the description for his clothing brand, man. Make sure y'all go cop that, man. I'm supporting all our people businesses this month, man. January, I mean, all the way up until January, man. We're just gonna try to push out as much of us because we got to start supporting us more. But today I got y'all. We know black Republicans and black Democrats has been going at it for a minute. They both want to steal each other's spotlight. And I'm gonna go over, what Malcolm said, but I'm gonna go over this new beef with Charlemagne the God and Roland Martin. Now, y'all listen. Roland Martin, Officer Tatum, two birds of another feather. We know they doing the same work on the other side. But it's time that we wake up and we got to realize that this is nonsense. Malcolm was right. We don't need neither one of them. Caldar, what's good, brother? I appreciate y'all always tapping in with me, man. So I'm going to go over this, y'all. I'm going to go over listen, it's a Republican that denounced a black guy. I'm going to go over that for y'all too. He denounced the Republican Party. Finally, we got a black person because I've been showing y'all all white people that have been denouncing, but I was thinking that the black should have been first with seeing all this racism. But without further ado, y'all check this out, man. Roland Martin just got himself canceled. I'm putting it out, canceling him. Right, but check this out.
Agree on that. But to say that I put out misinformation, that's just a fat, rotund Martin lie.
Hold on, let me back this out. Let me back it up.
Once again, we can have an ideological discussion about the government shutdown. We can agree to disagree on that. But to say that I put out misinformation, that's just a fat, rotund Martin lie.
Yeah.
Now, I just got a little bit more, just a little bit more. I'm with you. There is a reason Rotund Martin wants to paint the Breakfast Club, me in particular, as a person spreading misinformation. See, I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit, not too much because it really don't matter. I just want some of you to know people's motivation. Roland Martin is a hater. Okay, he be hating on me behind the scenes to anybody who will listen. He will say something negative about me. And it's always in regards to how I'm moving in this media space. In particular, anything in the political realm. It's always why does he get this? Why does he get that type of thing? Why is he on cable news? Why do politicians go sit with the Breakfast Club? Roland, I don't know. Okay, favor ain't fair, but he will do all that hating, but loves texting my phone asking to come on the Breakfast Club. Mm-hmm. Correct, Envy? Okay. Just be...
And it's not just Charlemagne. Roland, he's known for coming at anybody he sees as competition. He did the same thing with Stephen A. Smith. He did the same thing with Tariq Nasheed, too. I mean, he's done it to a bunch of people. He's in competition with anybody that's black, that has any influence or platform with a black audience.
So, just like Malcolm said, right? The fox is the Republican Party. No, the fox is Democratic Party, and the wolf is the Republican Party. That's what he said, and it made perfect sense to us now. But watch how they try to stand in line for massa to get that check to let them know that we the leaders of the black people. We leading the new black people.
Very simple. He's competing for the attention of black people because it's that attention that's used to get money and butter biscuits from the Democrat Party. He was already exposed for getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in the last cycle alone. And he's always begging for more money. So yeah, he's in a constant fight to show them that black people listen to him when we don't. The only people that really listen to him are the baby boomer catfish Christians. That's it. And you can add the HBCU Boule crowd too. So
man, y'all gotta check out my video I did on exposing the Divine Nine, man, with Stephen Coakley. I'm gonna do another part 2 of that with Steve. Probably do that this week, but I'm gonna show y'all how everybody in the political field on that left is in some type of boule.
When Roland Martin see all these people on the Breakfast Club, politicians coming up there, he's jealous. When he saw politicians talking to Stephen A. Smith and his audience listening, he's jealous. And for years, when he witnessed the Black American Renaissance Tariq Nasheed is pushing, he's been jealous. That's because no matter the platform, he saw their audience as blocks of Black people. And to
every one of these guys, Stephen A. Smith, Officer Tatum, bro, we haven't seen a real politician. Hey, Mama Lisa, you got it, huh? Listen, we haven't seen a real politician for us since Malcolm X, right? Because he the only one that spit the truth. Everybody else we see, it's like, what are they doing?
a political party, they're seen as blocks of voters. So when you're constantly fighting to be the HNIC of Negro political influence and media, and no one is really rocking with you, that's how you see that jealousy oozing out. And it's not just Roland Martin, but that's who we're talking about right now. Roland Martin is extremely jealous that these other names even come up in politics as individuals with any significant influence because of their audience. He's competing for the audience. He's competing for the attention, ultimately to compete for more butter biscuits.
Super correct. Okay, one day, a few years ago, I'm sitting at home. Roland texts me and says, hey, tonight on my show, we are going to talk about Tyler Perry and BET. At the time, it was rumors of Tyler buying BET. And the headline of the video he posted was Roland's blistering deconstruction of Paramount's idiotic failed attempt to sell BET. So I'm watching this video because he asked me to. And about 40 minutes in, one of the brothers on the panel starts bigging up Roland's Black Star Network, as he should. And then he just...
Now, to me, Charlamagne the God is on the same team as this guy. So I don't get why they're looking like the conservative party. It's like now y'all falling out. It's like what, the Democrat Party can't even stick together too? This is why we need to cancel all of it. Everybody gotta go.
Do a random shot at me, which Roland tended to let people do. Let's listen.
The Black Star Network is doing something that is, in the teaching profession, we call it God's work. It's thankless work. People might not necessarily understand it, but as you said, when there's something that folk need some reliable information on, you see the numbers explode. They come here. And Lauren, when you said you watch YouTube a lot, I mean, I try to stay out of digital world because I try to continue to be analog, as you can see, but I can't fight the future. So I look at YouTube a lot too for that very same reason.
Bro.
And here's where Roland Martin and his delusional smooth brain minions continue to expose just how idiotic they are.
Hey, if you repping any of those sides to me, bro, you is goofy. Our ancestors, bro, we had the Black Panther Party. We had real political organizations that really did work. So it's like you can never talk to a real person. I think because Malcolm X, to me, he was from the streets. And I feel like ever since they put the war on drugs in the community, a lot of the street guys would have been in politics and we wouldn't have been going. It would have been a lot more Malcolm X type of energy in there. But I think with the war on drugs, we had a lot of our Black men that was ended up getting money now instead of following behind Malcolm. So now I think it's tough for them.
They love calling everybody idiotic. Sir, Roland Martin's show is not on CNN or ABC somewhere. Y'all on YouTube too, just like everybody else. What are you talking about? We're all in the same place. But listen to them. They're totally delusional. How could anybody listen to people who lack self-awareness like this? He's talking about people being on YouTube when they're all on YouTube too. You can't make this stuff up.
And I'm saying this to say that, we saw what happened to Bomani Jones at HBO or ESPN. High quality analysis. He couldn't stand. And then you see them throw something out, Comedy Central with Brother Leonard or Charlamagne, whatever he calls himself. That ain't high quality analysis.
My brother, I don't know your name, but you can big up the Black Star Network without throwing shots at what I was doing on Comedy Central at the time. You can love on Roland and big up what he does without slandering me, but whatever. If that's what you got to do to remain in rotation on Roland's YouTube page, God bless you too. Now, in that same episode, Roland had this to say about me. Mind you, he texted my phone and told me to tune in. Listen.
Now, I like what you said on that. You were like, that war on drugs was a war on us. Exactly. So I feel like we would have had a lot more Malcolms, man. If those drugs wasn't there, they would have been pushing policies in trying to take over. And they noticed they had to have something there for us to get involved in, or we would have took this over.
You know what? I have not said this publicly, but I'm going to go ahead and say this. And I would love for the current leadership of BET to prove me wrong. When we were in Atlanta covering Melanie Campbell's grassroots organized an event in Atlanta. This was May? I ran into a sister and she said, I'm so glad to meet you. She said, I know so much about you. And I was like, really? She says, yes.
Right.
She says, after the death of George Floyd, she said, the leaders of BET came to me and said, it's time for us to do a news show. And she said, I ran the research. And she said, we did exhaustive research. We studied day parts, we studied shows, we studied other networks, we looked at radio, we looked at newspaper, we looked at podcasting. She said, we studied demographics, 18-24, 24-35, 35-44, 44-54, 55 plus. And she said, after we ran all the metrics, she said the research came back and the number one person they said, Black America said they wanted to see host a news show on BET was you.
Now, if you think that's the truth, you know, you'll probably jump off the bridge if you see other people jump off. If you ask right now who is the, you know, one of the leaders of what Black people want to see, it will not be Roland Martin by a long shot. Unless you get the boule crowd or people that's in certain organizations that got tied into getting money from big white corporations. So they're going to want to support him because they want to make sure they get our leaders. They don't want us to select our own leaders. They already showed us that with the FBI. They want to make a messiah. They want to make their own messiah. So we know that we would never accept no Roland Martin to be no leader for us. He doesn't have that Malcolm X spirit, that Bobby Seale, that Huey P. Newton. We know these guys. These guys stood on real business. None of these guys are like them. It's like they never even they don't even know about it.
She said it was you. She said Charlemagne was on the list. And she said, and then when Comedy Central launched his show, she said they're using my research.
Well, Roland, who else was on the list? Okay, why do you have to let people know that out of all the other people who I'm sure was on the list, Charlemagne the guy was on the list? Roland, I am not your competition, and I refuse to be responsible for how you feel about yourself. You accuse Breakfast Club of spreading misinformation because you are trying to discredit me and the platform I have helped to build as if that's going to amplify what you're doing. You don't have to do that, brother. You already up. You are a 56-year-old seasoned political pundit. You have a lot of respect in the space of political commentary. You are a trusted source for a lot of people, Roland. Be secure in that and stop projecting your insecurities onto me. There's a lot of things I disagree with Roland on, and even with knowing he be sneak dissing, not once until today have I ever spoken on him in a public manner.
Fifth Third Bank keeps your money safe with fraud monitoring and threat blocking.
This is banking.
Still,
A Fifth Third better.
you guys are in the same party.
And it's never been disparaging. Not even a fat joke. And I always thought Tariq Nasheed calling him Gerald Dessert was hilarious. But Roland out here lying, accusing us of spreading misinformation, that's an intentional attack to discredit us. What if I did an intentional attack to discredit you? What if I said, could someone out there make me an AI video? Okay, I want an AI video of the Stephanie Mills challenge. And I want Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries singing, I never knew love like this before. And I want Roland Martin in the background of that video dancing for Democrats like he do. I'm talking boogieing for biscuits. And I want the caption to say, we told Roland Martin he can cut in line at the all-you-can-eat Bussy buffet if he agreed to be our backup dancer. What if I asked people to do that for me? That would be an intentional attack.
That's actually really funny, and I can see it now. And no, I don't feel sorry for Roland Martin. He really deserved this roast. Yeah. He's a very jealous Judy. He's been lashing out at everybody for years on behalf of the Democrats, even people who also supported Democrats. But whenever they say something that doesn't fall in line with the masses' agenda, they march his big bubbly self out there trying to act like he's some sort of enforcer when he can't enforce.
I don't know if y'all seen that video, but it was a dude in Georgia. And Roland Martin was interviewing him, and the dude from Georgia was telling him, bro, we got to be boots on the ground and we need to do for self. He was telling him, this 21-year-old kid said he started a school and started putting people into the school, kids into the school, him and, you know, a couple of other 20, 21-year-olds. Why does it take, this man is 56-year-old. We got all of these older politicians. Why would it take a 21-year-old dude that really have more sense than these seasoned politicians? It lets us know that we got to get them totally out the way. Republican, Democrat, it don't matter. Y'all are really gatekeeping. Y'all ain't really making no impact. And we seen it done.
It's nothing but the Golden Corral buffet line, showing he's in competition to be the biggest puppet. That's why he's shown extreme jealousy towards all these other media personalities and influencers that's getting more viewers than him, or even the smaller ones. I mean, anybody that's getting the ear of Black people, carving out any space at all. Because if they're taking any space in the minds of Black America, it's like taking another bucket of chicken or butter biscuits away from Roland Martin.
But I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to ask you to do, sir, is don't tell no lie on me, and I won't speak truth about you. Please give Roland Martin the biggest hee-haw.
You made him today. Now, check this out. Now, shout out to CJ Perspective. He did one on this. But now, all of them, like I'm with Malcolm X on this. I feel like they're both a part of the same thing, right? But I'm gonna show y'all what. Shout out to CJ Perspective. He been coming up on the Perspective Zone, and we getting more and more real YouTubers, man. That's what I like about our community right now. You ain't putting nothing over our eyes no more. It's done with just trying to tell us anything. Okay, check this out.
We at the White House. We back in here. We waiting on President Donald J. Trump. Yeah. I look so good in the red. You ever notice how some of the Black people who get the biggest platforms always seem to be the ones who never make white people uncomfortable? Like, they all seem to have this pick me, please accept me type of energy. But what these people don't understand is that's a dangerous spot to be in, because the moment you lose even an ounce of enthusiasm for the people that you're tap dancing for, you're going to literally watch the support you have disappear.
You're gone.
Because the white supremacists that you're pandering to don't reward Black honesty. They reward Black compliance. And the people who play that game, they get propped up real fast until the moment that they're no longer useful.
What's an area where you break from or differ from President Trump? Where are you a free thinker as it pertains to his agenda?
There are tons of things that I've disagreed with President Trump on. I thought that he responded too quickly to Syria.
What are some others?
You can give me some policies and I can tell
anything
you
specifically on the areas that you speak
Black
about?
America? No.
About race, about Black Americans,
No.
about social policy.
No,
social issues.
I'm fully on board with him, and that's why I go around and I speak positively about him. And I want people to understand that we should be trying something different, and Trump is offering something different.
Candace Owens proves the point I'm making in this video, maybe better than anybody. She's the perfect example of what happens when a Black voice is no longer useful to the people who were boosting it. There was a time back in the day where you couldn't escape Candace Owens. Everything she put out was going viral. The white nationalist media rolled her out like she was the official spokesperson for what it is to be the good Black. And it damn sure wasn't because she was the sharpest knife in the drawer. It was because she was doing a very specific job. And that job is being the Black person that talks down on other Black people. That's the position that racist white America loves.
They love that. And
the slot is never filled. They're always hiring. To them, there's never enough self-hating Negroes. The see, they said it, not us kind of voice. And for a while, she played that role perfectly. But the moment she stopped spending every day dragging Black folks, the moment she stopped being an attack dog for the conservative white audiences, the moment she started aiming her vitriol at the wrong people, you see what happened, right? She disappeared. Now, if you want to find Candace, you got to go looking for her. Because once she stopped staying in line, the machine behind her stopped pushing her. Once she became less controllable, the spotlight dimmed. The same people who told her she was a truth teller, the same people who told her she was the voice that Black America needs, they vanished the moment she wasn't spewing her white supremacist talking points anymore. White America don't love Black voices. It loves Black voices who stay in line. And the moment you get off script, they spit you out and move on to the next one. So when you see cats like Stephen A. moving the way he does, shouldn't be surprised.
You got to know how to talk to white folk. Jasmine Crockett, how dare you? You got to be nice to white folk. They don't like all that aggressive Negro antics. See the way I talk to white folk? I talk to them real good. I don't want to get daddy mad now. The president of the United States, he run a good country for us. Look at this. We's free, we eat food, we get to dance, we get TikTok, we can do Instagram. That's a good man. Stephen A. Smith. You at it again, man. ESPN, he talks his, always has talked this boisterous, loud. That's what he does. He criticizes whoever's in his goddamn path. That's what he does. There's sometimes I agree with him, but man, you be walking that line, boy, of coon and righteous. You be right in the middle. You be ruining. That's a new verb. When you're right on that edge.
Now,
yeah, you be ruining, because he tried to speak up for a white officer, shoulder button a player in South Carolina. He went loud on that. He tries to get his card back, but we already revoked Stephen A. Smith black card, bro. We heard what you did with Kyrie Irving, and you tried to talk bad about O.J. Simpson. They make you say these stuff because they want you to be the police of us. But we don't respect you guys, and they don't need you no more. And the only way they need them is if we respect them. But they seeing all of our YouTubers are coming out like we canceling these guys. We making fun of these guys. They don't have the influence no more, so they're not needed. Their welcome has been ruined. Check this out.
I played that clip from Godfrey because he hit the nail right on the head when it comes to Stephen A. Smith. And if Candace shows you what it looks like when you stop standing in line, Stephen A. Smith shows you what it looks like when you learn how to play the game damn near perfectly. He's not unaware. He understands exactly what's going on with this racist administration that's in office.
Yeah.
And he knows how detrimental these clowns are to the black community. But he also knows what his white bosses at ESPN expect from him.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is a master at walking right up to the line, but never saying the one thing that makes white people feel uncomfortable. That's why it's so easy for him to hold black athletes accountable. He'll call out Jasmine Crockett and not think twice about it. Dog is no holds bar when it comes to calling out anything that's happening in the black community. But watch him when he talks about white men in power or anything that has to do with race that might make the wrong people feel uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, he choosing his words like he defusing a bomb.
Right.
Because he knows the deal. And he knows if he steps an inch too far, his bosses will turn his TV off. Dude is a performer who understands the script.
Turn your TV off.
He knows the line, and he knows how to walk right up to that thing, but not to cross it. And if Stephen A. is somebody who mastered how to stay inside the lines, Charlamagne is somebody who learned the rewards that come when you refuse to no longer step outside them.
Okay, so you said on the record that until blacks stop using the N-word, we can't get mad at anyone else for using the N-word. So how else do you blame black people for the racism that we face in this country?
I would like to say that I said that a while ago. Nothing I say is concrete. I'm very fluid in my thought process.
Oh, how convenient.
But I go back and forth with that, though.
Yeah.
Because I still use the word.
Yeah.
But I use it in context. So I'll be like,
Mia.
I don't talk. That's why.
And then there's Charlamagne. And he represents the black voice that built his career on speaking to us, but gets less and less interested in his black fan base the more he looks out into the audience and sees a bunch of white faces. He knows the more he can stay away from caring about black issues, the more corporate sponsors and brand deals that'll roll in. I mean, let's just be honest about it.
Y'all see Officer Tatum? If you watch any of his videos, bro, from him bashing black people, on the same video he bashing us, he's getting these sponsors from these, big white corporations because they know that all of the people that's watching him talk bad about us, they're in their comment section. So it's a good marketing to them, because they know what the customers is. So you can tell when you talk down on us, it's more opportunity, more money coming in for you. But we don't respect.
He's become somebody that white America could trust not to make too much noise. And that makes him predictable. And predictable black voices are always the most rewarded. The new Charlamagne is controlled, not by a person. He's controlled by access. He's controlled by the fear of losing what he spent a decade building
up.
He also knows the line, and he knows how comfortable life feels when you never cross it. And once a black person realizes how good the industry treats you when you stop being disruptive, most never go back. Charlemagne didn't stop caring about the black community. He got comfortable enough to stop being dangerous. And once you stop being dangerous in white America, that's when they love you the most.
Black people in Beaver County, we have parts of our personalities too, but it's not always for the same reasons. We do it with the intentions of achieving what I call white comfort. Now, you're not going to hear a lot of black people talk about this because not a lot of black people realize that we do it. It's something that's instinctually done to advance yourself wherever you're at, or to just not be affected in a negative way. So what is white comfort? White comfort is a number of decisions that black people choose to make or not make in order to keep white people that are in positions of power, or that can just have any effect on them. We want to keep them comfortable, or just avoid their inner detective kicking in. This could be in how we choose to dress or not dress, parts of our personalities we choose to show or not show, or even conversations and interactions that we just completely avoid.
Now I'm gonna give y'all this little story I had. I was in New York and I was talking, and I used to always say on the board, I was training my guys selling water treatment. And I used to always tell them, yeah, man, look, I'm a numbers guy, you know. Sometime I may write a word on here and it may be misspelled, but I'm just a numbers guy. And we had this, I had a brother that I brought into water treatment, and we used to have these regional managers come by and just check out what we were doing. And he told one of my guys, he was like, man, because I was from the South. So, you know, my slang and everything was different. But he said something to one of my reps, was like, dang, Rob's good, but you could tell, like, you know, when he's writing or something, he was basically trying to throw salt on me about, you know, my slang and my Southern accent and how I speak. And the brother was just like, looked at him and told me about it. But we understand that, like, when they see us, they try to pick things at us to make us seem like we're less than them. But it's not. You know, we got our own AAV. We got our own language. We talking slangs and code words since the beginning. And they don't want to respect that. They want to make it seem like our language is not right. It's not correct, you know, but we have our own way of speaking, our own language, pretty much. Let them cook. But just to let you know, that's how they play it.
At the end of the day, the pattern's clear if you pay attention. Certain black voices get amplified and pushed to the masses, and most of those black voices don't make white people feel uncomfortable. It's about how predictable you are. How safe. Candace Owens rewarded for punching down on her own people until she stopped. Stephen A. rewarded for criticizing the black community, but never threatening the machine. Charlemagne rewarded for entertaining as long as he keeps his mouth closed when it comes to criticizing the wrong people. So when you see these characters, ask yourself this: are they speaking truth or telling a story that predominantly white spaces want to hear?
That's exactly what they're doing. Every time, that's what we have to ask. Every time we hear them get on and try to speak to us, if it don't sound like Bobby Seale, Huey P. Newton, Malcolm X, I don't want nothing to do with you. Now, I'm finna show y'all this guy, right? He's sick of the people talking about how racist it is. And a lot of these guys now, they look weird if you standing by the Republican side, knowing how crazy it is. Let me show y'all how crazy it is for them to, or how they talk about black people. Check this out. This guy finally, he's the first black dude I've seen that finally is saying he can't rock with him. Check this out.
This is going to be a little longer video, but I made a decision today that I am done. I'll change my name from the Black MAGA Preacher to Reverend Jordan Wells, which is what I am, a reverend. and my name is Jordan Wells.
No, stand on that Black MAGA stuff. You came out with all this Black MAGA. Now you want to change your name, and you think we're gonna respect that? See, that's why you got to stand with your ancestors, your Malcolm X, your Bobby Seale, the people that I'm naming, because we can stand with them and we don't got to feel nothing. We don't have to change. We don't have to do anything. Listen to this bozo.
I had to, because as a Christian, that is what led me into politics. I was
as a Christian, that now, and a lot of us are still fooled up into that. A lot of people don't understand that. You got the same religion as the KKK. Y'all read out the same book, same verses, same everything. So why wouldn't you still, if the Christian led you there, you would still be in MAGA? Because they was in the same religion. It's like they don't even understand how stupid they look and they sound, bro. This is why we need our street guys like the Malcolm X, all of them guys that was in prison, who we got put in prison. I met up with some brother the other day, man. He got out of prison and he running like a youth boxing for a lot of kids. Them guys that was in prison, that went to jail with all those drug talk, those was our real leaders. Those was our stand-up guys. They wasn't going. They would have been nothing like these cowards that we see, the Roland Martins and the Officer Tatums. These are peons, lames. These are guys that wouldn't even been around, been able to hang around if they didn't have the war on drugs. And that's what's just hurting to me. It's like, you guys are the lamest ones, bro, and trying to speak to the people.
Pastor, I was not thinking about politics. It had no interest in it at all. And it's my faith that led me into politics. And I'm still in politics. I have to fight for this country like Dietrich Bonhoeffer did, even though Tucker attacked him. To the very last inch of this country, I will fight for conservatism. But the new right in our that is trying to take over the Republican Party, the MAGA movement, the America First movement, I can't get with. As a Black African-American man, it's apparent that I'm not welcome in that stream. Now, most Republicans aren't like this, right? I have a lot of support, but their voices are getting louder and louder. The Nick Fuentes, these are racist. I am Black. I can't support. You have the guy who's over the.
Now think about this though. He'll stay in his religion. He'll still claim a religion that has these same white supremacy people in it. And they both claiming the same thing. But when it comes to politics and you got somebody in it, you don't want to claim it no more because they're in it. It's like, bro, you can't pick and choose if you want to be down with them people or not. You either want to be connected with them or not. Keep it G. You're going to go to the same institutions and hang around the same people. But then when it comes to politics, you act like, no, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I can't rock with you guys. What y'all think about that? Am I tripping? Am I tripping?
Remisuan polls, he was commenting on a post, and it said he's a white. He said he's an American supremacist. He leads the conservatives with polls. How can that is not attractive to African Americans or minorities? An American supremacist? No, I'm out. I'm out of that. I am going to continue to vote conservative, continue to fight for Republicans, continue to fight for conservative principles. But we have Tucker Carlson attacking Christians. We have apparently to the woke right Christian conservatives. They're Catholic and they get to believe whatever they want to believe, but we can't support Israel, even though there have been Christians supporting Israel in America for hundreds of years. But we aren't allowed to support Israel, right? I don't agree with Catholicism. I don't agree with a lot of things in a lot of these churches that they go to or they say they are part of. But I would never attack people's beliefs as far as on X and things like that in politics. They attack Indians.
Shout out my brother Jarvis, man. He got the I got the link in the description, man. He got these Malcolm X shirts that y'all seen. I was gonna shout him out. He doing this thing. I love Malcolm X, but let me keep it going.
They're mad about the HB1, and some of them are mad because of jobs, but some of them are mad because they don't like immigrants. That's just the reality of the situation. And I can't get with that. As a Christian, I'm not American only. America. I love our country. I really do. I'm a patriot, but I believe Jesus sent us on a mission to disciple all nations.
Now, if you tell me, right, because I'm a belief of a person that I don't think nobody's gonna follow this guy. Okay, our real leaders was guys who they got a little street in them. They've been in the streets a little bit. They got their hands dirty. You know, I'm just being honest with y'all. They're not guys who just, you know, turn the other cheek and they always want to talk so sophisticated and right. It's just that ain't what we need as leaders. We need our strong, independent, that got courage. And these aren't the guys. You could just tell how he's just flip-flop. He's just everywhere. But he don't got no backbone. He ain't standing on no principles or no morals on this.
Not just America. And I love all nations. I love Africa. I love Israel. I love other countries. I can't support that. I don't believe that if that woke right takes over, which I don't believe they will, because I'm going to fight against it and other people are fighting against it. And most of the politicians on the Republican side don't agree with it. I believe it's the death of I believe the Republicans will never win another election. It doesn't have mass appeal. Most Americans don't believe in that type of white supremacy, racist stuff.
We don't believe in you though. It's like we hear you talk. It's not connected. It's connecting to them. It's connecting to the white supremacy when he talks. It's like that's what he's spewing. Just like CJ told us. Now I'm finna let y'all see what Malcolm. This is what Malcolm said. And we can't listen to the aura of Malcolm, bro. Look how this man speaks and how he stands on business when he talks. You can't put no man in front of me, bro. Look, watch this.
On the basis of your two remarks, ask a double-pronged question. One, is it then your assertion that the laws with respect to how Negroes are supposed to have equal opportunity and equal rights in this country are not meaningful or believed by whites? And secondly, what is your opinion and attitude toward the civil rights movement in general, and particularly the Reverend Martin Luther King and his philosophy of nonviolent direct action?
If the white people really passed meaningful laws, it would not be necessary to pass any more laws. There are already enough laws on the law books to protect an American citizen. You only need additional laws when you're dealing with someone who is not regarded as an American citizen. But whites are...
Now let me know, what do you think about what he just said? I mean, do you agree with him or do you disagree?
Critical. They don't want to admit that this black man is not a citizen. So they classify him as a second-class citizen to get around making him a real citizen. If he was a real citizen, you'd need no more laws. You'd need no civil rights legislation. Civil rights, when you have civil rights, you have citizenship. It's automatic. White people don't need laws to protect their citizenship because they're citizens. But they don't want to tell us we're not citizens. And at the same time, they don't want to pass laws that are meaningful enough to protect us as if we were citizens. And the Supreme Court desegregation decision is the best example I know. That's a law from the Supreme Court. 10 years have gone by. No desegregated schools. It hasn't been implemented beyond, I think, 9% in 10 years. So this just shows you the hypocrisy of the American white man. They talk out of both sides of their mouth. And for this reason, we who are Muslims.
And now it's the black man, like I'm showing y'all, Officer Tatum, and you got Roland Martin. These are the guys that's talking because it looks like they got influence over black people, but we ain't going.
That is, who believe in the religion of Islam, who believe in God. We don't believe that black people will ever get any problem with laws being passed or new persons being put in office, white liberals being put in office. There is nothing that the white man will ever do to bring about true, sincere citizenship or civil rights recognition for black people in this country. Nothing will they ever do. They will always talk it, but they won't practice it. And with the Supreme Court, if the NAACP...
Why don't you talk about the NAACP right here?
I seriously believe that the quote unquote white liberals will always find some way to make it seem or make it appear as if Black people or the Negro people are not citizens.
Can tell me that they want a desegregation decision for me 10 years ago, but yet the schools haven't been desegregated. As I say, this is a victory with no victory. It's a victory that you can talk about, but it's a victory you can't show me. So if you represent the NAACP and you are telling me about this great victory you won for me, when I look at you, I have to conclude that either you have been duped yourself or else you are trying to dupe me. And
see, this is how all of our street guys would have been acting with all of this politics. You wouldn't have been able to, they needed the war on drugs because it would have been too many guys that was on point. All of this NAACP, Republican Party, Democrat Party, it wouldn't have worked. We came from the Black Panther Party. We came from seeing our brothers do solid stuff, standing on real business. There's no way we would let these bozos be in power talking to our people. They don't have no charisma. They don't have no backbone. They don't stand on no type of principles in business. So it's like, I know that this is the only reason why these guys was able to come up. A lot of them.
And in most instances where the civil rights struggle is involved, there is no civil rights leader can point to me one concrete gain, practical gain that Black people have made in the civil rights field in this country, not only during the past 10 years, but during the past 100 years.
Now, the other part was with respect to Mr. King and the nonviolent direct action.
Well, I will let Jimmy Baldwin and John Killens and Lou Lomax, the writers, answer that. Speaking right after this church was bombed in Birmingham, Christian church was bombed in Birmingham by Christians too, mind you. And these poor little girls were murdered. John Killens and James Baldwin and...
So y'all hear, he said the Christians bombed the Christian church. So how crazy is that? He's letting you know that, you know, how this game is.
Lomax and the Negro writers and actors had a meeting at the town hall in New York. And Killen pointed out concerning these murders of these little girls, said the killings had raised doubts about the intelligence of the nonviolence in the civil rights struggle. He went on to declare that he could no longer be asked to love those who persecuted and killed Negroes. He also, and the writer, Mr. Handler, who's describing this, said that Killens, it was not clear concerning Killens' remarks to his audience that he was breaking with it was clear rather to his audience that he was breaking with the doctrine of the Reverend Martin Luther King's philosophy that as Christians, Negroes should love their fellow man in a truly religious sense. Now, James Baldwin, speaking on that same platform, said, and I was present during this entire affair, asserted that the American people shared a collective guilt for the persecution of Negroes, much as Germans did because of their silence during the Nazi persecution. He denounced President Kennedy for what he termed Kennedy's lack of passion in the civil rights struggle. Mr. Baldwin said that there could no longer be a Republican Party for the Negro people as long as it listed a Barry Goldwater, nor a Democratic Party for the Negro people with a Senator Eastland on its roster. He asserted that the federal government acted swiftly and energetically, that unless the federal government acted swiftly and energetically, future slaughter would make Birmingham look like a dress rehearsal. And now, what do I think about King's attitude? King's right-hand man, Wyatt Walker, at King's convention, according to the New York Times on September the 26th, said, quote, we have been duped, meaning these persons involved in the civil rights struggle, of which King is the symbolic leader. His right-hand man says, and I quote, we have been duped or have duped ourselves into believing that the chains have been broken, when in truth we have only been chained more securely. Half freedom has in many instances been worse than no freedom at all. Why? Don't ask me what I think about their struggle. I can tell you what they think about their struggle. And
so the point I'm making is, guys, because they're able to choose from not our strong, solid men, they're going to take them out. You see masculinity, standing on business, principles, morals, they're going to get them out of the way. Then they're going to want to bring in this softy, turn the other cheek, forgive them type of black man. And they want to put them in front of us. When really we know that, bro, we had Huey P. Newton. We had Malcolm X, bro. We had some real strong men that wasn't going. You know, they would die before they would cross over.
They are pointing out that it is becoming more difficult every day for the civil rights leaders to keep the masses of black people nonviolent and long-suffering and patient and keep them from becoming disenchanted. I hope that answers your question.
I have a few questions, and I need for you to answer them for me in the comments. First off, how do you think the world would be if there were no Malcolm X or Martin Luther King? Do you think the world would be in a better state or even worse or maybe the same? And also, do you consider yourself to be more on the side of the teachings of Malcolm X by any means necessary or by Martin Luther King, turn the other cheek? Maybe you're a little bit of both.
Turn the other cheek is crazy. That's just crazy to me. But, you know, it is what it is, man. But, yeah, that's just me showing both sides. Like, look, until we get these softies, you know, feminine style men that, you know, they not standing on no type of business for us. And they're leading all of us down the wrong path, in my opinion. We got to go back to being led from our guys that was, you know, boots on the ground. Because they would have been on boots in the ground activities. As we seen with the Black Panther Party, we seen with a lot of these organizations that our people had, they wasn't playing. And it wasn't nothing soft and sweet about them neither. You know, they was ready to step on, like you wasn't going to play with them like that. And that's what they had to get up out of it. Because if we would have been fighting like that for a long time, we would have broke them. Because there's people still out here, bro. We going to stand on business and we ain't selling now. And I think right now it's becoming more and more, it's becoming harder because you got a lot of us on YouTube spitting this. We calling out these guys. We tired of them talking for us. We tired of them having allegiance to, you know, higher ups. And they trying to speak to us, telling us how to act. Like, we don't need y'all speaking for us anymore. So this was very important to me, you know what I mean? And I want to start highlighting our most successful stand-up black men like Steve Copley, Stephen Darby, you know, a couple of guys that I already said. We got to get back to seeing them and letting them be led, because they trying to just throw all of these people in front of our face. And I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced, man, at all. They don't make me feel like they got an ounce of masculinity in them at all. But I want to know what y'all think about this in the comments, man. He said, would you rather have a Malcolm X approach? And I know pretty much everybody respected Malcolm X because it was like, you know, but I do think Martin Luther King got duped and he realized and he wanted to switch over. But really, Malcolm X really gave us that, you know, that masculinity. Now, I want to show y'all this. I talked to y'all a little bit about our language, like how we be speaking. And people try to downplay how we speak. But this was meant for people to not understand what we're saying. Just like when you hear people from other countries talk. And down south, I know like Atlanta is real heavy with the accent where you cannot really tell at all. But I remember some words that we used to say, you know, that a lot of people won't even know, like jit, or we'll say like things like face in them. Or we'll have a lot of different slangs where if you wasn't from South Florida, where we from, you wouldn't really understand it, you know. But check this out. I'm gonna let y'all see how they talk about our
Welcome to
lingo.
Black Issues Forum. I'm Kenya Thompson. Language tells us the story of who we are. It shapes how we see ourselves and how the world sees us. Today, we're diving into African American Vernacular English, or AAVE. It's a language form that has built worlds in music, art, and everyday expression, yet it's often misunderstood, misused, or dismissed. Joining me is Dr. Mark Anthony Neal, a Duke Distinguished Professor of African American Studies and African Studies at Duke University, and someone who spent decades unpacking Black culture, identity, and sound. Welcome to the show.
Always glad to be back.
It's always great to have you. You know, the first time I heard of AAVE was from my assistant, and I was like, what is this? I'd never heard of this before, right? Even as a professor. And so when we think about African American Vernacular English, AAVE, let's talk about what it means in cultural terms, and then share a little bit about where it comes from.
I mean, very specifically, it's the way that we talk, right? It's the way that we voice our experience. And it's a combination of things, right? It's African retentions, things that we have retained from our transport from West Africa.
Yes.
The most famous linguistic example is the TH sound. You know, so many interesting documentations of early Black English, or AAVE as you describe it, where
Now, a lot of Black people don't understand. They for us, but they still back. They don't understand how important to know that we were the Mayan people, we were the Aztec tribe, that had the pyramids here in America. We actually went over to Egypt, bro, and put them down on science and everything, and they started building the pyramids. That's why they destroyed them over here. So they want to make Africa seem like the central hub, but for real, during Pangea, all of the lands was connected. So West Africa and like America was like right here, bro, right by each other. So they not understanding that at one point they were probably talking about the whole piece of land and calling it Africa. But still, we have our own, here in the Americas, we have our own culture here, just like in Ireland. There's Black people in Ireland, there's Black people in Australia. They got their own little culture inside the culture.
TH becomes an F sound, so instead of tooth, it's tooth. But it's also about region, right? Where individual Black folks grew up, what the language was like there. So there's always this kind of southernness to Black language, right? And even when folks aren't living in the South because of migration patterns, you go out to Los Angeles, you can hear resonances of Louisiana and Texas for folks who've been in Los Angeles for generations. The mistake about AAVE is that it represents some sort of cognitive disconnect, that folks who use AAVE aren't smart, that they're not speaking proper English. And to your point, AAVE is governed by its own set of rules that make perfect linguistic sense. In the context of AAVE, even if it might sound a little foreign or different, right? The irony is that, what we think of as standard American language, most British, talkers think that Americans, bastardize the language, right? So because American use of English is a vernacular in and of itself.
Yes, it reminds.
So you could tell that in the South, what basically he's saying is our language and how we had from the South it migrated. So you could hear people from Cali and they'll still have that, you can still hear it a little bit. Like Kendrick Lamar said something about that in his track. Our roots is still there, even up north, everywhere. You still, like right now, if you ever hear like some common words that's in the community, like here we say jit, that means like we talking about a younger person, a kid, right? And then you got stuff like right now, it's a term that they use and they call it type sh. It's a curse word, I ain't gonna say it, but it's floating around, and this is what a lot of people are using. We always had our own slang words that people couldn't really understand, and people ask like, what are they talking about? Definitely in my community, I know that, we used to call each other dirty, hey dirty, but we only speak like that when we amongst our community. Like we had our words that we use and we only used it amongst us. But if we was around outside our community and people heard it, it was like, man, they say that over there. over there in Little Harlem, they talk like that. Over there in Parkway, they talk, you know, they say a little things that's different, but it would be from way back. Like it would be some things that we would say that people were saying years and hundreds of years ago, you know, but we was just, you know, saying it. Like the term jit and its other little terms. I can't really have it come to my mind, but when I'm around my my community in my hometown, when I speak, it just comes out for what, you know, it's been in our community for so long. But when you hear other people or Caucasians that hear you talk like this, some of them don't like it and they'll try to make fun of it because they don't really understand it. And it's important for us to get back to that. We don't have to, you know, position ourselves to want to talk like how they talk. We need to keep our traditions, stuff that we had, and keep it moving. Like they'll pick up on because they copy us. And it's a couple white dudes that talk about this. They got YouTube channel and they talk specifically about Black language and how it's more sophisticated than the English language. And like they don't give us our credit for like how we kind of put our own twist on the English language, and they're trying to pretty much take our credit away. But I'm gonna let him play a little bit more.
Reminds me, so I've shared before, I'm Haitian and our language is Creole. But for the longest time, that was seen as uneducated because it was broken French. However, if you really take a look at it, we were able to formulate language after being stripped of our own tribal tongue, right? To communicate.
Now, what I read too is Creole that's a Black language. That was like in New Orleans. It wasn't to pretty much a place, but they said that it was in America, the Creole language. Like we had languages here that they don't want us to even know about right here in America. Like before all of this Columbus stuff, you had people that had their own language, but this is the stuff that they took away from us.
With one another. And so that was that resistance.
And that's what's important. Language is a connection to culture. If you lose connection to language, you lose connection to culture. What we call things, how we talk about our experiences, whether it's sitting in the pews of a church or sitting, you know, in a hip hop cipher or just everyday language in the barbershop or a beauty parlor, our language is connected to those spaces, right? And if we don't understand the value of that language, we don't understand how it's necessary, yes, to be able to talk differently to different audiences, but you still have to connect language to the culture that you come from.
I want to pause there because there's a piece that I want to share that speaks to that.
Straight up, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. I got the Cash App right there, man. Make sure y'all support so we can keep this channel going, man. Have more guests and stuff and keep talking about stuff like this. Let's get it.
Black speech has always had rhythm. It's poetry, performance, and presence. But when that same rhythm is taken out of context and repackaged by others, what's really going on? I want to take a look at this video called Blaccent, published by PBS Digital Studios on the PBS Origins YouTube channel. We're going to share it in its entirety because it really dives into how the so-called Blaccent has become both celebrated and at times exploited in mainstream media. Take a look.
Have you ever noticed this phenomenon?
You gotta understand that I'm not paying for
Rude boy, it's a white boy summer. Bad gal.
Kill me, get your ass in here. You gonna roll up to that way and you gonna be like, fuck my bitch. I be tripping.
Blaccent.
Blaccent is essentially right there in the name. It's a portmanteau of black and accent. So Blaccent, or what I'm thinking of as vocal blackface, are kind of interchangeable. They're both instances of people who are not Black adopting African-American English or African-American vernacular English.
Seems like it's been in show business for decades.
Mommy. Mommy.
Yeah. So why do people keep using it? Again and again and again. Let's get a historian's take on why entertainers use Blaccent.
You ain't nothing but
Elvis's recording of Hound Dog is super interesting for a couple of reasons. The first is that it is a cover, which is probably news to a lot of folks because a lot of folks think of it as sort of an original Elvis track, but it's actually a cover of Big Mama Thornton, her version of Hound Dog that actually preceded it by a few years. And then the second thing that makes it interesting is that it launches a young Elvis Presley onto the international stage in a major way. And he becomes lauded as sort of the king of rock and roll, whereas Big Mama Thornton is largely forgotten by mainstream audiences as being one of the major architects of rock and roll. During this time, radio was largely segregated, and it meant that Black musicians and white musicians were rarely, if ever, played on the same radio stations. So we start to see the first all-Black radio stations at the tail end of the 1940s and into the 1950s, and the first Black radio station was WDIA in Memphis.
The place where the blues began in Memphis, Tennessee. WDIA invites you to join us in asking the man upstairs to smile on us today.
So even white artists like Elvis were huge listeners to stations like WDIA and these race music stations, and they were being influenced by the new culture and the new sound that they were being introduced to.
A lot of people, when they heard Elvis, thought he was Black, didn't they?
At first, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they said he's playing Black music. He's a white guy.
Yeah, but see, at first he was playing more like rockabilly. He wasn't really getting into the things that he started to do later. But when he started to do that, then he started to turn heads, including mine.
The real issue at hand here is that there was an imbalance of power. So while white artists were busy sort of adopting,
Elvis was Drake before Drake, man. You know, he started talking like us and stealing the lingo,
covering and appropriating Black artist songs and seeing huge profits from these covers. Black artists were largely not seeing the same profits, not seeing the same success, and not having the access to the music industry that white artists were. Early rock and roll was invented by Black people. Folks like Chuck Berry were duck walking and swiveling their hips before Elvis ever came on the scene. Nat King Cole, he's being run out of town, beat up by mobs.
way better.
So near our
Whereas Elvis, who's, you know, making young white teenagers swoon, is seen as a sex symbol, someone who's edgy, someone who's ahead of his time. So there is a double standard.
Wait a second. So Elvis sang like Black musicians and became the king of rock and roll. But it looks like the trend of white people speaking like Black folks started even earlier.
One of the earliest examples of vocal blackface was definitely the radio show Amos and Andy.
Andy, wake up, wake up. Hello? Ain't answering the telephone. This here. Come in here and wake me up like this.
It premiered in 1928, and it was wildly popular and successful. Millions of Americans tuned in 5 nights a week to listen to these two white actors who got their start on the minstrel and vaudeville stages, basically perform as Black men. There was this sort of racial tension and anxiety caused by the Great Migration. Millions of people fleeing from the South in order to escape restrictive laws and racist laws, as well as class tension and anxiety caused by the Great Depression. And so people were looking for ways, particularly white people were looking for ways to reinstate or reaffirm their control on the racial hierarchy of this country. And I think that made the show, Amos and Andy, even more appealing to these audiences.
So appealing that they made spin-off movies,
The Kingfish is coming over to talk over a big proposition.
cartoons, even a TV show.
Well, boys, it looks like I's the big winner.
The Amos and Andy show actually led to the first all-Black cast of a television show in history, and I think that complicates the ways that we have to look at its legacy. These actors who were on the show were instructed to maintain the Black scent and maintain the sort of caricature of the earlier radio program because that's what made it successful, and the producers of the show thought it was more authentic.
How do you do there?
See how they do it?
By forcing these actors into sort of a narrow role, they were essentially forced to adopt this really stereotypical version of themselves and reflect back to white audiences what they expected more than what was actually authentic to the Black experience.
Where's that husband of mine? He didn't come home last night. The lessons note saying he was going away to make
Same
his
thing
fortune
like
and be dead to
media
me
today,
later.
bro.
In some ways, it gave opportunity to Black actors who were looking to express their talents. And in other ways, it perpetuated the violence and the racial stereotyping of the original program.
But Professor Bainbridge, this was the 1950s. Surely we've made some progress since Amos and Andy, right?
Don't sleep. Don't sleep. Because she might disappear. Saw that? Sweat, right? Yeah. She came back, though. She likes you.
The continuing controversy around Awkwafina and her use of black scent has a lot of different moving parts, and it started very early in her career.
Make your girl panties cream. Yo, spreads hepatitis C.
But she adopts sort of an African-American accent while she's rapping. And then after that, she becomes better known for her acting than her music. But even in television and film, she's still adopting this very particular African-American vernacular English while she's performing. And she's largely performing funny characters, comedic characters.
You gonna roll up to that wedding, you gonna be like, fuck, bitch.
Seeing her gain success for using black scent was extremely problematic, but I also think she got more critique specifically because she was a woman of color. And I think that people are more likely to hold women of color to a higher standard than they are other groups.
That God, dog.
But it sounds like a lot of people on the internet speak with a black scent now.
When someone says like period, cis, whatever, snatched, all that it's very much like internet culture.
I think the argument that internet lingo or teen speak is synonymous with black scent is actually quite harmful and can be really a slippery slope, because in some ways it normalizes adopting and appropriating black accent or adopting and appropriating black culture as just being the norm. While some folks are saying, well, it's internet lingo, it's internet speak, they're also, becoming huge TikTok celebrities and influencers off of doing these actions.
11, 10, 9.
When a black person does adopt, say, AAVE, they're seen as ungrammatical, less professional, less desirable, and less likely to be hired.
Wow. That double standard is literally costing people their jobs. So what can we do about it?
I'm not a fan of dragging people online, but I do think holding people accountable could look a lot of different ways. Going back to Awkwafina, one of the ways she could have credited the Black community for sort of some of the innovation that she was, taking credit for with her black scent would have just been simply saying, sorry. I don't profess to be an Awkwafina historian, but I think it's important for us to think of gentler ways that we can engage with each other and engage as communities of color, because we do have a shared destiny and also a shared sense of politics that makes it really important to think about solidarity. So I wonder if there are just other ways of engaging.
But this goes to today, guys, with what I'm saying, how even with Ice Cube, man, Ice Cube is partnered with some guy, bro. We don't, all of that Hollywood stuff, them scripts is made to make us look bad. It's not to keep us united, and it's all for their gain. And we just look at it as we making money. So I just wanted to get into that, man. Show y'all about like our language, how we speak. They're copying us, but when we do it, in my experience, is they want to act like, oh, his language isn't right, so we don't got to care about speaking like them. People want to copy us. We're the influence. So it's like we see how they spin in the game with our stuff, but can't stand us, but they love imitating. So yeah, man, they still mad over 2 years, but man, I appreciate y'all for tapping into this one. Definitely gonna chop this one up, but definitely we got to cut all politicians, man. Make sure for the rest of the year, y'all, I'm really trying to push supporting us. We don't need to be spending no money worrying about Thanksgiving, Christmas. We need to make sure that we go out our way to help us out, put money in our businesses, Look out for the businesses that's looking out for our people, have us in jobs and things like that. We got to make sure we're doing this, because right now we all we got. And if we don't stick together, it's going to be harder for us to push this down to the next generation. It's important. It's an important time right now that we got to stand together, and we got to put our resources together. We can't just be like, not supporting each other no more, because it's getting critical. Everybody trying to click up with their own, parties and take us out. So we got to stand strong. So, man, I love and appreciate y'all for always holding me down and staying on the channel. Call Dog 73, Mama Lisa, Triple Arrows, Trev, man. Shout out to everybody who been supporting me, man, on the Cash App too. I got to give out to Shabazz and all of the people, man. I appreciate y'all so much. Nikki P, Miss Mickey Jones, everybody who just want to make sure and push the culture forward, man. Y'all know I'm so grateful, and I appreciate every one of y'all. So I will be going live. What's tomorrow? Monday. I'm gonna put out some good stuff through tomorrow, but I'm trying to get some people that's like-minded like me, and have them on the show so we can definitely get to it. But I don't want to be spitting out and talking too much of what we trying to do online. It's something I'm trying to work out offline and bring my people together. So y'all please stay tuned in to me, because I may have some information or news I may want to get out, and I'm not trying to be like just broadcasting everything. We're trying to keep everything real tight right now, because they watching us. They want to copy us. They trying to take the things that we did, like the Black Panther Party came out with the breakfast, and then the WIC program, we see the government use that. So they try to take all our ideas and use it for their interest. So make sure y'all always support us, man. And definitely I appreciate y'all. I will be tapped in tomorrow. Make sure y'all always tap in to me, man. I'm going to be putting some information on posts, but love and appreciate y'all. I catch y'all on the next video. Peace and love. I have a call in next time, man. I know. That's right. Sometimes you have to move in silence. Yes. I'm gonna have a call in next time, because I'll be wanting to hear from y'all too, but I'll be trying to put the show together. And so at the end, I'm always have a call in. I ain't gonna have a call in tonight, but make sure y'all tap in. Love, appreciate y'all. Y'all stay blessed. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love.